news that's happened, give my thoughts and opinions on some of the main transfers that are rumoured to happen and stuff like that. So I thought I'd do the same here because, we're nearly halfway through January now, so a couple transfers have taken place, a lot of transfers sort of developing. Obviously there's not too much because it's Jan. Most clubs don't really spend too much money in January anyway, so yeah, we don't have loads to talk about, but there are quite a few big deals. But I do want to talk about, Man City, I want to talk about Marmoush, Carl Walker, I want to talk about Kvaratskhelia, PSG, Chelsea, Rashford, and a bunch of other stuff that comes to my mind. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on any of the things we discuss. I was going to do gum chewing in this video, because I actually got a couple recent requests to do some mukbang or something like that, but I'm going to do gum chewing, but I couldn't find any gum. Yeah, I'm out of gum, but maybe if you guys want to see that, I'll bring back gum chewing. I'll make another one of these later down the line and do that. But anyways, it's just a whisper ramble here, so I think the best place to start is with Manchester City. Now, Manchester City have been very, very active this window, and I mean, rightfully so, because they definitely needed to, after their abysmal season they're having. And to be honest, it's looking a little bit scary. Now, I don't mean scary in terms of they're gonna win the league now, they're gonna win the Champions League. I just mean they're on business, they are well and truly trying to address their issues right now, and they're willing to put down the cash. I do think a sort of second half resurgence is going to happen to them. So they have basically signed this centre back from Lens. I think his name's Kusanov. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know too much about the guy, but from what I've heard, he's a bit of a beast. He's a really fast, really aggressive centre back, and he's probably going to be good. He's very young. Spent a decent amount of money on him, and they definitely needed to get another defender because their defence has been really the main issue this season. Has been absolutely abysmal, hasn't it? But that's not really the signing. That one that I'm wow, okay, City, they mean business now, is Omar Marmoush. Omar Marmoush does look like he is on the verge of signing for Man City. It's not done as of recording this, but it does look very likely that he will join Manchester City in Jan. And I spoke a little bit about this in the ranking each club's transfer rumours, but I think it's a great signing. I think it's a really good signing. I think it is exactly what City need in terms of another attacker in there. You can actually score some goals, you can actually dribble past opponents, you can actually create some chances, because right now it's literally Erling Haaland is the only person in the attack doing anything of note. So Marmoush is just going to inject a little bit of something into them. It will be interesting how he does, because of course he has been unreal for Frankfurt this season, but can he replicate that in the Prem? He has sort of really overperformed a lot of his numbers, in terms of XG. So who knows? Maybe it's not going to be a great signing, but I mean, on paper it looks pretty good. I think he'll, even if he doesn't do amazing, I think what he will do is just add something different, add a bit of a spark to the attack, and hopefully at the very least it will signal to some of those attackers that, like a Foden, that okay, I need to step up my game because they've just signed someone here who could potentially replace me and I might be out of the team. So yeah, we'll see how Marmoush does, where he comes in and straight away hits the ground running. I mean, if he can replicate that Frankfurt form at Man City, then oh boy, yeah, they might have a real good talent on their hands there. But yeah, I don't think Man City are going to be done yet. I think they're going to sign some more players, to be honest. I'd be shocked if Marmoush and this Kuznov guy are the only two they bring in. I think they'll probably bring in some more. They haven't really been linked to any midfielders yet. I will be shocked if they didn't bring in another midfielder this Jan. And yeah, I think Man City, with their new signings, obviously it's not going to solve everything here, but I do think they could have a little bit of a resurgence in the second half where they don't get back to the old City, but they become at least a good team, at least, and get in the top four. I also want to talk about some of their outgoings because they're also trying to get rid of some of their deadwood. Really, Kyle Walker is of course looking like he is going to leave. He's going to be joining AC Milan. Now I always thought this situation is a bit weird because Kyle Walker, he's been absolutely abysmal, and then Pep comes out and says he's asked to leave in January, which I was like, mate, I'm not gonna lie, you're probably doing City a favour there. You've been absolutely cooked this season. I was probably gonna sell you anyway, so sure. I'm sure when he said he came up to Pep and Man City and said I want to leave, I was like, oh yes, finally this bum is out the club. Now look, Kyle Walker obviously has been an amazing servant for Man City, but he's clearly past his expiry date now, at least at the highest level here. AC Milan is an interesting move though. We have seen sort of older players thrive in Serie A who do look kind of washed and actually do pretty well. For example, Matteo Darmian is still starting for Inter Milan and doing very well. So maybe someone like Giroud went there, prolonged his career. Maybe Walker can sort of re-find himself at Milan, but I doubt he's gonna be unreal. Under Conceição will probably be pretty decent. And as I said, he's been a great servant, but yeah, it's definitely time to go. Although we'll see. I'm guessing City will probably try to sign a right back then, maybe. Unless Rico Lewis is just going to be the right back from now on, but they look a little bit light in that right back slot, I guess, now that Walker is gone. And if they do sign one, it'll be interesting what type of right back they get. Will it be like a sort of attacking one, because Walker has been much more of a defensive one in recent years, so maybe they're going to go for like a sort of centre back type, or are they going to go for a more attacking one? Maybe it'd be interesting what happens there, but yeah, I think that also sort of just signifies the problems City have had, where a lot of people have just lost motivation because Walker was very close to joining Bayern Munich 2 seasons ago, signed a contract, stayed, and now all of a sudden after 6 months he wants to leave. I think just sort of just proves his motivation isn't there anymore. His hunger's sort of gone at Man City. He wants a change of environment. I think a lot of City players are like that right now, and that might be explaining a couple of the reasons why City have been so poor. They also look like they're going to sell James McAtee, which definitely needs to happen in terms of for his career. He needs to get out. I actually think City should be giving him more of a chance, and I think they should be trying to keep him actually, because he is a really talented player, but he's just not been given any minutes, and rightly so, should be trying to move on. A lot of clubs are interested, like a lot of Bundesliga clubs, a lot of Premier League clubs, so I'm really intrigued where he goes. Maybe it's going to be like another Cole Palmer situation, who knows, potentially. McAtee definitely has a lot of talent, but I don't know if he'll be that good, but I'll definitely be intrigued to see how he does, if he does move on and where he does go. But that's pretty much all of Man City. Let's move on to maybe what's going to be the biggest transfer of the January transfer window. That is Kvaratskhelia. Kvala. I'm awful at pronunciation, so please, don't grill me on my pronunciation of his name. Anyways, Kvala is kind of out of nowhere said he wants to leave Napoli, and Napoli are going to sell him this Jan. And it does look like PSG are going to be the destination for him. As I'm recording, it hasn't been agreed, no bid has been made, but he has agreed personal terms, and PSG are sort of trying to find a way to get the money to buy him. I think they're trying to include a couple couple swaps like Skriniar and that in the deal. It does look like eventually he will join PSG, Kvaratskhelia, but yeah, I mean, I thought this is a really weird one, to be honest, because of course Napoli are in the midst of a title race right now. So I'm kind of shocked that he's like wanting to leave. I don't know, maybe there's a falling out with Conte or something. I don't know, maybe someone else can tell me why exactly he wants to leave mid-season. It just feels a bit strange to me, like surely you would just see out the season with Napoli, maybe try and get another Scudetto under your belt and leave in the summer, you know. It does feel a bit strange to me because he's actually, you know, he's played a decent amount, he's been a key player for them, but to be fair, Napoli, he's been out like the last couple of weeks and they've gone perfectly fine without him. But yeah, it does feel a little bit odd, to be honest, what's happened there. That being said, that is, you know, one of the best left wingers out there on the market because he is a fantastic player. There was reports Liverpool were also interested in him, which, I mean, they really do not need another left winger, but I mean, it's one of those, right, where one of a fantastic player comes on the market and it's available for a cheap price, you sort of just take it even if you don't need it, right? But yeah, he does seem he'll go PSG, and we'll see how he does there. Again, it's kind of interesting what happens there because they've obviously got Barca, who's been fantastic on the left wing, Dembele on the right wing as well, so yeah, I don't really know what sort of dynamics going to go on there, but I guess it's, you know, the first superstar back at PSG in a while. They haven't really had a superstar like Kvaratskhelia. I mean, he's not a superstar, but like a big name signing, so it'll be interesting what happens there with Kvaratskhelia. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to Chelsea because there's been a couple sort of stuff I want to talk about here. So we're on a bit of a mini clear out this Jan. A lot of players are going to, or at least reportedly going to leave us this window. So apparently Axel Disasi has been offered out to the market. We're trying to sell him. Thank God for that. I mean, that guy is so bad. He's so bad. Well, I say so bad. He's just not good enough for where we want to be and the way we play. I think it'll be pretty good for, you know, a couple other sides, teams who play maybe more of a counter-attacking style. But yeah, I don't think Disasi is the one, and kind of glad to see he's being sold. Hopefully, Carney Chukwuemeka is also looking to be, well, actually not sold, loaned out. Apparently Dortmund is very interested in him on a loan, which would be a really fun one. And maybe it's actually only a loan because I do really like Carney, and hopefully he can do really well on that loan, and who knows, maybe find himself back in the team. Speaking of Dortmund, Renato Veiga has also apparently agreed terms with Dortmund, but so yeah, Renato Veiga has reportedly agreed terms with Borussia Dortmund, but we're still sort of trying to figure out the fee there in terms of selling him or a loan. And it's a bit of a weird one. Apparently he wants to leave because he's not being played in his position. He wants to play centre back. We've been playing in full back or in midfield, and I'm like, we literally need centre backs. So why is this guy not playing centre back? I do not know. I don't understand. And again, this whole sort of model is just bizarre because we only just signed this guy in the summer and now we're selling him already. Like, where's the sort of player development where we haven't developed this guy at all? He's barely even played. He's just played Conference League minutes and now we're already getting rid of him. Like, seriously, we're not even playing him in his right position as well. He's already unhappy after 6 months. It's really frustrating, isn't it? There's also recently been links about Matthias Tell and Nkunku. So Nkunku reportedly could be involved in a swap deal for Matthias Tell at Bayern Munich. Now, I'm not completely against Nkunku going. I think Nkunku is a good player, and obviously I would like to keep Nkunku, but he doesn't get enough minutes, and he is a sellable asset. And he just doesn't really fit into the team right now. So him going is fine, but selling him to bring in Matthias Tell is what I don't understand. Now I really do deserves more minutes at Bayern Munich. But I don't really understand why we would sign him, because why would Dell join? Like, the guy is frustrated at his lack of minutes at Bayern Munich. He's not going to start at Chelsea, so he's going to sit on the bench at Chelsea. Like, what the hell? What's the point in that? And, you know, we definitely need another striker. We need another striker because Jackson goes through purple patches. He's not some consistent 20-goal striker. And right now he's not going through a good spell, but we have nobody we can trust to replace him. So we need someone, but we don't need another young striker like Dell. We don't need that. We already have a young striker in Jackson. We already have a young striker in Nkunku. The whole reason we should be signing a striker is because Maresca doesn't trust Nkunku to start Premier League games because he's not ready, he's too young. So don't go ahead and sign another young striker. Like, what don't we understand? And if you sign Dell, then what happens with Q? What happens with Nkunku? Because the guy's not going to play, is he? The Chelsea sort of transfer strategy it baffles me. It baffles me, to say the least. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that situation. Right, let's talk about some other stuff. So Marcus Rashford, he has been linked to quite a few clubs and quite a few big clubs across the continent. Recently, I think Borussia Dortmund, Juve, Milan, even Barcelona are heavily interested in monitoring his situation right now, which is great news for Rashford and clearly shows, you know, people rate him still in the football world, and these big clubs are still interested in him. Of course, he'll most likely only be a loan, but this presents him a fantastic opportunity to try and resurrect and salvage his career here. Rashford, he's got a great chance here. Now, in terms of where I think he should go and where do I think he'll end up, it's an interesting one. You see, in terms of what's the best move, I mean, if we break down the options, Barcelona, I mean, you know, you have an opportunity to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. In fact, it's pretty crazy you would actually be upgrading from your current situation at Man United if you joined Barcelona, which would be pretty funny, to be honest. But you're not really guaranteed to start. When everyone's fit, you're probably not going to start. Rafinha is going to be on the left wing, isn't he? And yeah, I think the system as well. I mean, Hansi Flick, to be fair, has got the best out of every attacker at Barcelona. All the attackers have been thriving under him. They've been putting up some insane numbers. Rafinha, you've seen he's having the best spell of his career right now. Yamal, Lewandowski, even like Ferran Torres coming off the bench have been great. So you could potentially, you know, rediscover yourself if Hansi Flick gets his hands on you. Pause. But yeah, I do think though, I'm not sure that system actually suits him though, because they play a very sort of possession-based style, and sort of all of those attacks I've mentioned are very, besides maybe Ferran Torres, are very sort of ball to feet technical players. I think to sort of thrive in that sort of possession-based system, you need to be a sort of technical player. None of them has really the profile of a Rashford, where he gets ball and he just sort of like, he's a good, I think when Rashford's at his best, it's not really in a possession-based system. I think he's better sort of in a counter-attack. You give Rashford some space to run into with his dribbling ability. He can be deadly. And I think at Barcelona you probably won't get that. I think it, you know, wouldn't be the worst move in the world. I think for Barca it actually makes a lot of sense, because obviously I think he's a player who can play on the left, he can play up front as well, and it'll be a sort of good bench option, a good sort of differential, a different option for them. But I mean, do they even have the money to do this? They can't even register almost, so I'm not sure how feasible this actually is. Borussia Dortmund, I mean, if you're just basing it off what happened with Sancho, right, you're like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good move. Sancho did pretty much the same move last year and managed to resurrect his career. Rashford will do the same, right? But it is a bit of a different situation in terms of Jadon Sancho was, used to Dortmund. He was used to the country. He was used to the language. I'm pretty sure knew the manager. I think he still knew some of the players there. He didn't have to sort of adapt to anything like that. He sort of just went there and just played his football. However, Rashford is going to have to go to a new country, a new language, a new team, doesn't really know anybody there, so it's not really going to be as seamless. And yeah, Rashford is going to have to adapt. He's going to, not be as settled in as Sancho. He's going to have to think about all of these things, so I don't think it's as simple as, Sancho went there and did well, so Rashford do that and go well. That being said, I do think Rashford will do pretty well there. I think that maybe will suit him a little bit better. But again, does he start? I don't know. Do he start with it? Jamie Gittins? Definitely not. Gittins has been fantastic, but I don't know. I don't know about me. It will be okay, I guess. Milan and Juve are interesting ones. I personally would say, Milan would be pretty cool. I think Milan would be pretty cool. They got Leao, they got Pulisic, him in there as well would be really, really nice. Although I don't think Rashford would actually start on the left wing, though. He'll probably have to play striker. I don't really know if that's his best position at striker, to be honest. But I think on the Conceição system will kind of suit him. We've seen players like Pulisic go to Milan and do really, really well, rediscover their form, so I think maybe that could be somewhere good. He'll have players like Pulisic, like Loftus-Cheek, like Demore in there as well. You can help him settle in. Kyle Walker's joining him there too as well, so yeah, to be honest, I think Milan might be the best destination for him. It's just, in terms of position-wise, he's not probably going to play left wing. He's probably going to have to play striker, and I don't know if that's the best. And Juve, I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but again, they play quite a sort of like possession-based style, and I don't know if that really suits him. A lot of their attackers have sort of struggled under Thiago Motta. They've really been quite a dull side in terms of attacking, so yeah. But so I would say, if I was advising him, go to AC Milan. Where do I think he's realistically going to end up? Oh god, it's tough. I would probably say, I think he's realistically probably going to end up at Dortmund. I think he might actually end up at Dortmund, but we'll see what happens there. Anyways, let's wrap up with a couple other bits of news. Kolo Muani, he's been in the news a little bit, of course, very much out of favour at PSG. You want to get rid of him. Yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Apparently, Juve are interested, Spurs are interested, and Man United are interested. I think for United, that would be perfectly fine. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Obviously, Xerxes and Højlund haven't been the best. Another attacking option in there would be pretty decent. Just on a loan, I think is not too bad. Spurs, again, I talked about this in my ranking every transfer tier list video I did recently. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay on a loan. That's fine. But I mean, he's only really going to be back up, isn't he, in a depth option? I think Juve does make the best sense. I think Vlahovic has been okay, but not amazing. So Colomani could come in and replace him, and I think it'll be a really, really good option. And I do think Colomani is a good player, but he just, for whatever reason, hasn't worked out at PSG. So let's see what happens with him. What else happened? Oh yeah, Daniel Marland looks like he is joining Aston Villa. Yeah, good signing. It's a permanent deal, like 20-25 mil or something like that. Decent bill of money, but yeah, I think he's a good player. I think he'll suit their system pretty well, and yeah, Villa definitely needed to buy someone in the window because I think they've been a little bit, I don't want to say like stale or dry, but I don't know. There's just something about Villa this season that's a bit off. Like, they've been winning games, but not really amazing. They haven't really been exciting to watch. They've not been great. They've sort of just been getting the job done. And I think Marlon will hopefully inject something into that side that they need, particularly in the attack. So yeah, decent signing there. I think that's pretty much everything. There was also something which I saw was pretty cool. So Sunderland recently signed Enzo Lefebvre, which is a very, very good signing, by the way. Lefebvre is a very, very talented player. But what made the deal interesting is something I haven't actually seen, and I don't know. I didn't really think this was a thing, but so he's on loan, but he in the championship, that's a lot of money. But of course, this only happens if they get promoted, where 16 mil is not really a lot of money, right? For a newly promoted side. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. I feel like those things only sort of happen on like Football Manager, those sorts of deals. But yeah. Anyways, we'll wrap up the ramble there. I think that's pretty much all of the latest news, at least